Sweet Talk is a weekly 20-minute podcast brought to you by the Continuing Education Workforce Training Division of Idaho State University's College of Technology. This podcast is part of our continuing outreach efforts, and the format is conversation. We're having conversations with businesses, professionals, entrepreneurs, community agencies, and in all cases, difference makers. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and SoundCloud. So subscribe today. Take 20 minutes and hear from people living in your community who are making a difference in your community. It's time to get started with Sweet Talk. Hello, everyone. This is Jason Batalden, the Assistant Director here at Continuing Education Workforce Training. And Paul, we've got more than just a guest with us today. We've got the man himself.
The man himself.
Gary's joining us on this podcast today. So, Gary, we're glad that you're here.
Thank you.
This must be an important podcast. If Gary's joining us, this must be an important podcast.
That's true. All of our guests are important, but sometimes, Gary's got to show up to make sure we stay in line, right?
Yeah, that's the only reason he's here. He just wants to make sure that we don't mess up.
You're just checking the sound level.
Yeah. Hey, Gary, I'm going to hand it over to you. I know we've got a very special and important guest today. I know she's coming from us live from the other part of the state where she told me earlier it's not snowing. So I told her I don't talk to people anymore who don't live in snow. I stopped talking to my parents about 2 weeks ago. They're in Arizona. So, but with that said, Gary, please introduce our guest today.
Okay, thanks, Jason. Good to see you again. Same to you, Paul. And it is snowing outside, folks, here. So we're really glad to have lwissel joining us today. Lupe is the State Director for Idaho AARP, and we're so fortunate to have a few minutes to spend with her. For those who don't know AARP, that's the American Association of Retired Persons? Is that? No,
she's shaking her head. You messed it up.
Shaking her head. You got that wrong.
What is it, Lupe?
It used to be, American Association of Retired People, but it's no longer an acronym for anything. It's just AARP because we're not just for retired people anymore. We are we work for 50 and older. So
awesome. Okay. Well, we're going to get into that. You'll keep correcting me. I screw this up every time. Thank you. Lupe, we're so glad to have you here. If you would take a moment, just let's start off by getting people to see a little bit about your experience or background and how you got to AARP here in Idaho. That would be great. Could you talk about that?
Absolutely. And Gary, Paul, Jason, all of you. Thank you so much for inviting me. I watched your last podcast. Very, very nicely done. Thank you.
Oh,
thank you.
It was fantastic. And I thought, I'm going to follow that.
Oh, right on. That's great. Well, we've got more followers than my parents, so we're doing
Hey! My mom doesn't even follow us.
No, it was really good. So thank you. I was looking forward to this opportunity because we're doing so much. A little bit about me. I mean, again, yes, I am from Idaho, but I've been with AARP for just a little over 5 years. I came back, and I say I came back October 15, 2015, and AARP brought me back. I was actually in Washington, D.C. I was working for the U.S. Senate. I worked for two different committees there. I started out with the Senate Committee on Aging, working on aging policy, aging issues. And then I was asked to go be the staff director for the for the U.S. Senate Committee on Veterans Affairs. And that was quite timely because, as you know, that was just post 9/11, and so many needs, so many issues, to deal with when it came to our veterans and service members coming back with traumatic injuries. So that was quite an experience and very rewarding work. Of course, then in 2015, AARP had a position here in Idaho, and they offered me the position, and the rest is history. They brought me back to Idaho. I worked here, actually. I worked for the Kempthorne administration before I went to DC. I worked for him at the Idaho Commission on Aging. And again, great work there. So, but I'm really pleased to be back. The last 20 years, that's what I've been doing, really working on the advocacy world, really trying to be the voice for people that typically do not, whose voices are not heard or whose voices need to be heard. So again, thank you again. Here with AARP, of course, we have such a large membership. We have almost 186,000 members here in the state. We are the largest organization working on issues impacting the 50 plus. And I call ourselves, we're a wise brand, fierce defender. Our focus, 3 different issues, which is health, wealth, and self. So those are the three areas where we really focus. Health, you've got to have, we got to work on policies that are going to offer healthcare that's affordable, and then of course, then we also have to look at the wealth piece, got to have the savings, retirement, and so on, your Social Security, et cetera, so that when you retire, you have a way to do so. And then, of course, the self is once you retire and you're healthy, you want to have opportunities to then really enjoy your life, your retirement life. So in a very compact, way, that's who we are.
That's awesome. It's very, very nice to hear that. And people should understand, you bring a wealth, a huge background and experience of working on aging and commissions and just being an advocate. So that means that Idaho is very, very lucky to have you and being able to have you at the head of this fantastic agency. I did not realize, Lupe, that you have that big a membership. My goodness. How does an organization like AARP reach out and get so many people on board? How does that happen?
Well, first of all, we have an outstanding executive council. As a matter of fact, one of your, someone from your organization, from your university is now our state president. Dr. Bessie Katsoulides, a great leader. So we're partners in terms of the work we do. And we have a great, and there in Pocatello, you have Margene Wofford, who really makes sure that we hear about the issues in that community so that we make sure and focus on those as well. But we also have, if you look at our representation, and we only have 5 people on staff. You met one of them here just recently, our state director for outreach. And we have one person that does our advocacy work. And then we had communications and our SOA, who keeps us in line budget wise and so on. And then myself, but then we also have hundreds of volunteers that volunteer on a daily basis to make sure that we are able to offer all the different opportunities here in the state and also to get the word out. So without our volunteers, we could never do what we do.
Yeah. That's that's an incredible operation. I've got to admit, the first time I was up in your offices and I realized there's only a few of you, there's five of you. And you depend very heavily on volunteers, and you have volunteers for all of the things that you're doing. What a very nicely run organization and being able to accomplish so much with that. Kudos to you and to the staff. And by the way, for those who may not understand, she was referring to Kathy McDougall. And we did a podcast with Kathy here recently. And in that one, we were talking about NKA and AARP, NKA Treasure Valley, and you're headquartered there in Boise. But I remember in that podcast, while that is centered in Boise, the outreach from that group seems to be going broader and broader as well. So kudos to what she's doing in outreach, and kudos to you for this fine group. That's terrific. That's a terrific story just in itself. My goodness.
But Gary, we couldn't do this without our partnership with you either. So, our partnership with Idaho State University, and that's been phenomenal. I mean, I think we're in our 6th year, and when you look at COVID, the pandemic, and you look at how it's made us, the word pivot, we.
Yeah, good word.
We have gone from in-person events to offering virtual events. And with that also came opportunities, and that's that we're now able to reach so many people across the state, and they're able to benefit from so many of the great programs that we have to offer. So that's been working very effectively. Last year was a learning year. This year is a year where we can really engage more and more people across the whole state.
Yeah, you've been very successful. That group has really turned to, and I agree with you. We look at COVID as being just a dramatic impact to many of our lives, and it is. But you've taken some of that and turned it into a real good opportunity with the outreach going through all of the virtual classes that you hold and maybe some other events. And I'd like to talk with you, hear some more about maybe some of the events you're planning on for this year that might be of good interest to the audience. But going back, just one more thing too, I want to acknowledge Margene Walford here in Pocatello. She's I've worked with her on multiple occasions, and right now one of the issues there is she's been joining this United Senior Project group.
Right.
Who's looking for a home for seniors here in Pocatello on this side of the state, where they can have activities, where they can do more educational things, where they can gather seniors 50 plus and do more. So it just shows the outreach and extension that you're having, the impact you're having across the state. I'm sure it's everywhere else as well. I don't know everybody you have, but you have a tremendous set of resources and volunteers.
We have a phenomenal team. I mean, from staff to our EC members to our volunteers across the state. Again, I could never say enough about the great people we have. When you look at, we're in January, so we're starting tax season. We have the tax aid program that's all run by volunteers. We also have the driver safety program. Again, another program that's totally run by volunteers. Then, of course, we have all the other programs that we have to offer. Our Fraud Watch, our advocacy is the big one. And I'll talk a little bit about that since we're in, the legislature's in session. And so that's really our focus right now. But I mean, during this pandemic, when you think of people just needing information, wanting to know what's going on, what do I do, et cetera, we're very fortunate to have the governor join us at the very beginning of the pandemic to do the teletown hall meetings. We've been able to reach over, and I am not kidding you, we have been reaching over 6,000 people on the phone and then also on our Facebook. And that's been the way for people to get really information directly from the governor. Tell me, how many times are you able to actually talk to the governor directly?
Yeah,
people are doing that. People are doing that.
That's cool.
But he takes that information and then he takes that and then finds solutions to try and address some of those issues. So that's been just very, very helpful to our large older population here in the state.
Yeah, that is terrific. What a great source of feedback for the government to get that directly from the group of members who are associated with AARP. I mean, it works both ways. It is awesome. It really is awesome. What kind of as long as you're talking about them, what kind of feedback are the members giving you? What are you hearing? What are they saying they need more of? What do they like? What don't they want?
Well, I mean, obviously, everybody is suffering from isolation right now. Everybody wants to get back out there. And it's a bigger problem, of course, with our older population. When you look at the numbers, the older population, especially those that are 65 and older, are the ones that are impacted the most. Deaths COVID deaths are more than 40% of those folks that are in nursing homes and long-term care facilities. When you look at the 65 and older, you're looking now about 90, 96, 97, 98%. So that's huge, so you can see why this is impacting them so much. They're not able to get out. They're not able to see their loved ones. They're not able to, when they were isolated before, this is worse, so they're ready, and they're looking forward to the vaccines. Those are coming starting February the 1st. They're able to at least get on the list to go and get their vaccine, those 65 and older. So that's been just a great news for them. But I think they really want to just get back to some kind of normal. And at this point, I don't even know what that really means. It's been so long. I just mentioned I've been working from home since last March.
Yeah.
And, so my days kind of run together.
Yeah, that's understandable. I think we're all going through some of that. And I do appreciate when you talk about, I don't know what normal is anymore. I remember what normal used to be. And I'm anticipating there'll be changes, once we get to, a less impactful spot from COVID. But, in all the news, we keep hearing of, hey, there's variations out there. There's new things to worry about. I don't know what the future normal is going to be. But I'm so glad, we've at least been able to capture other ways to get the work done, to accomplish the things we want to do, to meet like this. Those are important for all of us. And for those who can't get out, particularly if you're challenged with any of the IT capabilities, that's a tough road to go through. And the more work we can do with that, I think the better for everybody. Thank you for bringing that up. I have a question for you that you referred to, but there are projects that you do some long range planning throughout the year. You have some events that that maybe you want to talk about. I'd love to hear some more about what you're hoping to accomplish in 2021.
Absolutely. Just coming up, I just mentioned teletown halls. We have one coming up here on this coming Tuesday. Okay. We're doing the teletown halls, continue to do those every other week. And we'll have the governor for, I think, that 32nd or 33rd time, but he will be there with the Director of Health and Welfare, Dave Jepson, and they will give an update on what's going on, especially with the vaccines. So many things changing, priorities also changing, et cetera, so he will be fielding many of those questions. So again, I would suggest people, they can call if they want to call, or they can sign up, go to our website, and there's a way for them to sign up to be called for that teletown hall. But then also the week of February the 8th, we typically every year we have lobby day to really focus on our top priorities. And this year we're not able to do a in-person lobby day, so we're going to have lobby week, and that'll be from February the 8th through the 12th. The week of February the 8th. And we're going to have a movie during that week, that's people can stream. We're going to have that following day, which is February the 9th, we'll have another teletown hall with the President Pro Tem and the Speaker of the House, to talk about just the legislative agenda, what's going on, what's going to get done, and also offer people the opportunity to bring up the issues that are important to them, legislative issues that are important to them. So again, another opportunity, February the 9th, it'll be again from 12:30 to 1:30. And, one of our priorities, of course, is retirement savings. We're really trying to get a bill passed this year. I think the pandemic made it more clear, how ill-prepared many of us are for retirement, let alone have any savings. Folks lost their homes, and we're looking right now at trying to figure a way for employers to be able to offer the employees. I'm talking small business employers that otherwise cannot offer a retirement plan. So to offer them just a way for them to, for the employees to put some of their own money away for retirement. There's been studies done that if you can offer a payroll deduction, people are 15 times, and that's 15 times more likely that they will put some money away for retirement. So trying to work that this year, and we'll see how it goes. So Then, of course, we'll be offering a number of other events, for people to participate. We just started up the Movies for Grown-Ups. So go to our website and you can sign up so you can watch those. So we're going to have those regularly. I think we've got 4 of them already scheduled. One coming up, I think, this week. And then another one, as I mentioned, on the week of February the 8th. And then we have 2 others, and I don't have those dates in front of me.
So those are like a shared watch, like you're watching them together and you can talk and communicate and like, okay, all right.
It'll be, we're offering a streaming service, but you'll sign up and you're the only one, or your family can join that movie and watch that movie for free. So
cool. Throw popcorn.
We used to have Movies for Grown-Ups. We would rent the theater and offer the movie, and we'd invite many of our members to join us. We're not able to do that right now. Yeah. So we said, well, what can we do? Let's do a streaming service.
Yeah, so, you have to pivot.
Yes. Flexibility, right? Be flexible and ready to pivot.
That's very good.
Yeah, you know, I can't remember who we had on. It was a number of podcasts ago, but I learned then that a number of our students in the university, they do movie nights, and I think it's the same kind of a shared streaming that they do to watch some movies. So there you go, great pivot, good pickup there. Anything towards the end of the year that you're looking forward to once we get to towards the end of 2021?
Who knows what that's going to look like?
Yeah.
I mean, really, who knows what that's going to look like? Obviously, we are hoping to be able to get back to quote normal, get back in the community, and work on some of the other issues that we're still working on. But we need to get back out and do our livable communities work, do our just community presence, being there, having people come and join us. So there's so much that we haven't been able to do out there, in person. But again, we've been doing the best with virtual events. I think we've done a really good job. I think out of this pandemic, what we've gotten is many of our membership and the older population really getting to get more comfortable with using technology. And that's, I think, great for everyone, because the opportunities that opens up, the opportunity to talk to family members, friends across the country or all over the world. And I'm getting a signal there. Paul, what were you?
Well, I was thinking, was that like one of the biggest hurdles when this started happening, was the transition to the technology? Because, before it was like most people, it was voluntary, and then it became more essential.
We had some people that actually say, I can't do that. I'm not interested in the virtual world. But you know what? Many of those folks are actually starting to join up. We've been offering classes left and right, so they can feel comfortable. And again, it's a comfort level. But you know what? I was not used to this either. I mean, to think that we're here having a virtual conversation, via Zoom. I was not used to this, but I've had to get used to it. I've had to give in to the video.
Yeah, we've all had plenty of practice now.
Well, I'm still technologically challenged, but anyway, I'm going to continue working on it.
Oh, yes. You pointed out so many great things, but I think I've heard a couple alarms go off. We've approached and passed our 20-minute mark, and I still haven't given you the opportunity. I want to do it now. If somebody wants to reach out to AARP, or they want more information, or they want to contact you with questions, Lupe, what would be the best way for them to do that?
We've got a number of ways they can do that. They can go to www.aarp.org/ID. They can also go to AARP Idaho Facebook. I would also encourage people to sign up for our monthly newsletter. And we send that out. It's a monthly newsletter, but we highlight the top events for the month, and they arrive to your mailbox, to your email box, the first of every month. Or if all fails, you can call 866-295-7284.
Oh, that's great.
Old fashioned.
Old fashioned. You got to use the fingers to do the walking. Hey, Lupe, I want to say our time is up, and I've had a lot of fun and learned some new things. Appreciate all the work that you are doing, your team is doing with AARP here in Idaho. You've been a strong advocate for the over 50s group. You bring a ton of great experience to this organization. Obviously, AARP is growing well across the state. You've pivoted superbly in all the things that you've done. So thank you for what you do and helping a lot of us learn more and providing avenues that we can continue to find that normal that we've talked about. That's an excellent way to be. For all of the folks who are out there, she gave you some contact information. Gem State AARP, Lupe Wissel is the lady. She has got the ear of the governor, and town meetings coming up, so you ought to tune in because that's how you get your feedback to where it needs to go. Thank you, Lupe, for that. For all of our folks in the audience out there, thank you for joining Sweet Talk. We hope you've had a good time learning something. If you see something you would like to hear, please let us know. You can reach us at cetrain.isu.edu. And all of you have a great day. Thanks for being with us on Sweet Talk, and be safe out there.
Right.
Thank you, Lupe. That was wonderful.
Thank you all very much. Thank you.